My people, another kasala don burst for political zone again. A lot keep happening in the political zone. Can you imagine a video circulated yesterday where Peter Obi member brought in a television inside the law court just to showcase their evidence against Inec and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They brought in a television, but no one knows what television is all about. It was later that Peter Obi said he's going to use Chinese television member, like Chinese television staff, as an evidence, and Peter Obi did it in the law court. I will showcase to you everything that happened. The two videos that Peter Obi showed to the judge inside the court, I'm going to show you the two videos now. Obedient, I would like you to stay connected to the end of this video. APC are in trouble. They are in big trouble at the moment. Inec is in serious mess. They are shivering now. Obedient, stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share this video, share it. Let it go viral. If you can't share it, just click the like button, like it, so that it will recommend it for us. Obedient, stay connected. Coming back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to LAJUPOG TV. For those of you coming across the channel for the very first time, ensure you click the red subscription button on your video screen and do well to click the notification bell icon, so that whenever we drop a new audio or a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you know. The update I have for you today is a full update. I would like you guys to sit convenient, just sit convenient. You can hold your popcorn, just hold it. It is not only any chairman that read the election, there are many. Come and see their faces. Their secret is out. Secret of everything is finally out. You know, it was yesterday that Peter Obi brought a television to the law court just to showcase his evidence. A lot of people did not know the reason why they brought that television to court yesterday. The reason why they brought the television into the law court yesterday, it was because of Inec and Tinubu. You know, in course of the election, it's no more in news that there are a lot of rubbish that took place in course of the election. There are a lot of voters intimidation, electoral malpractices, and voters bullying, and all of that took place all around different states in Nigeria. And at the end of the day, Inec announced someone that is not qualified according to the electoral process as the president-elect and was inaugurated on May 29. But Peter Obi is persistent in court and he believes in the judiciary so well. So everything is still in the tribunal right now. But for us to cut all story short, you know, a lot of people think that once Tinubu has seated as the president of Nigeria, once he is inaugurated, no, there's nothing Peter Obi can do again. But the answer is capital no. Even when a president is seated, there is still a way the president can be unseated by the judiciary, and that is what Peter Obi believes in strongly. Obedient, I would like you to share this video if you can share it, and if you can't share it, like it. Just click the like button on the video so that YouTube will recommend it for us. The television that Peter Obi brought into the law court yesterday was because of Inec and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I said this earlier, and what is in the video? Peter Obi played two videos to the law court yesterday, two different videos, and one of the video is the video of Chinese television where she, you know, they said Peter Obi wants to use Chinese television staff as an evidence to fight Inec in the law court and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes, Peter Obi did it in the law court yesterday after an Inec staff attested to the fact that the election was rigged and all of that in favor of Peter Obi. After an Inec staff stand as an evidence for Peter Obi, likewise a Chinese television staff to stand as an evidence for Peter Obi yesterday. Just stay connected. I'm going to play you the two videos that Peter Obi played to the judge yesterday. Just stay connected. Now, in course of that video that Peter Obi brought into the law court yesterday, something happened. Peter Obi played two different videos. The first video was the video of Inec chairman. Likewise, the second video is the video of Sheung of Chinese television. Sheung Akinboboye is one of Chinese television staff, and that was the video where Sheung had a conversation with Festus Okoye of the National Commissioner of Inec. So that two videos, those are the two videos that Peter Obi played in the law court yesterday, and I'm going to play you the two videos now. Though it's a very long video, but I would like you guys to sit tight, and I will tell you the reason why Peter Obi played those two videos. Inec is already in trouble. You know, all the evidence that Peter Obi have been bringing for some couples of time now into the law court, once Peter Obi's lawyer had trended the evidence, Tinubu's lawyer and INEC lawyer keep saying objection, my lord. They begin to object all the evidence. Even the judge said it yesterday. He said, you guys are objecting fraudulently. He told Tinubu's lawyer yesterday, because a lot of objections, they will not allow Peter Obi's lawyer to speak. But in this very place, the judge gave Peter Obi's lawyer a free grant for them to talk, and they raised out their evidence properly. They showcased their evidence to the tribunal. So with that, I would like to stick until the end of this video. If you really want to check the two videos that Peter Obi played to the judge yesterday, first one I'm going to be playing it to you now, and the second one too is going to be played. Just stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Inec, in its conduct of its activities, need a lot of integrity and trust from the citizen, but perhaps that is one thing that is now in short supply for the electoral umpire. And the integrity the commission has built over the past election cycle is gradually wearing off, at least based on what the political parties and some citizens who are reacting to these elections have expressed. But conducting elections need a great deal of integrity quota to enable citizens' participation and the smooth running of the process. Let's get the sense of what exactly is going on, and perhaps there might be some explanation from the side of INEC that we yet do not know. Let's speak with the INEC National Commissioner on Voter Education and Publicity, Mr. Festus Okoye, who joins us virtually. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, for joining us tonight. There's been a lot of reactions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much indeed. There's been a lot of reactions from Nigerians, and I'm sure there is just a little coming from INEC as explanation on what really happened. Tonight, can you tell Nigerians what really went wrong?
I think it is too early to engage in a postmortem of an electoral process that has not been concluded. We have only organized the presidential and national assembly election, and we still have the governorship and state assembly election outstanding. So I think it's too early to engage in a postmortem of the election. But what the commission has done is to begin preparations in earnest for the state election, which is the governorship and state assembly election. There were a few challenges relating to the conduct of the first leg of election, that is the national election. We have done some soul searching, we have done a little bit of evaluation, and we have also learnt some valuable lessons from the conduct of the presidential and national assembly election. And some of those lessons have been imputed into our preparations for the governorship and state assembly election. So I believe that despite everything that has happened, despite the challenges the commission had during the conduct of the presidential and national assembly election, at the fullness of time, I believe that the history will be kind to this particular commission in terms of the outcome of the presidential and national assembly election.
So what you said, you have done some soul searching. I mean, you can't do soul searching if nothing went wrong. So what would you say went wrong specifically now in the area of upload of result to the IRF portal? Because that was one major thing that caused some kind of outrage from political parties and some voters.
The commission issued a statement relating to the inability of the presiding officers to upload the presidential election results, and the commission made it very clear that there were some technical glitches relating to the upload. My own knowledge of technology is very, very limited, but those who have the knowledge have made their own explanations to the commission, and have also assured the commission that those glitches have been rectified and that the commission is ready for the conduct of the governorship and state assembly election.
Some of these non-fluid disclosure of what really happened has led to a lot of speculations. People are now saying what they think could happen. Is it as a result, the breakdown in the performance of the IRF portal or the upload of result, was it as a result of a hack onto your system? or this was as a result of a failure of the pathway, technical pathway of the server or the porter, or is it as a result of internal manipulation? What is exactly is it? Because we've brought technical people, IT experts, to Channels Television to analyze for us what could go wrong, to give Inec the benefit of the doubt. But now that you have opportunity of speaking to millions of Nigerians, because you need that trust and integrity quota to go into the next election, what was it really, technically speaking?
I think that there has been some misinformation and disinformation relating to what the BVAS does in terms of the electoral process. Now, the commission designed the BVAS in such a way that it will perform three functions. The first function the BVAS performs is the function of voter enrollment. So when we are registering voters, we call it the IBED, that is the Inec voter enrollment device, and we use it for purposes of voter enrollment. When we are carrying out election in terms of voter accreditation, we use it for purposes of voter accreditation. In other words, it has the capacity to read the fingerprints of individuals and also read their facials. So for purposes of voter verification and authentication, we use it for that particular purpose. After the elections, we also use it for purposes of uploading of polling unit level results and the accreditation data to our Inec result being portal. So this is the part that had slight challenges during the election. The BVAS is not an electronic voting machine. So the only thing the BVAS does is to transmit accreditation data relating to the number of persons accredited at a particular polling unit to the Inec result being portal. We also use the BVAS for the purposes of scanning what we call from EC8A, that is the polling unit level result, into our Inec result being portal. Now, before this scanning, and I think that it is important for us to have this clarity, the law, the Electoral Act 2022, makes it clear that every registered political party, in conjunction with their candidates, have the right to send polling agents to every polling unit in Nigeria. And these polling agents, we call them party agents, so to say. Now, if you look at the number of persons that we are sent to the various polling units, for instance, the PDP as a political party deployed a total of 176,588 polling agents. The Labour Party deployed a total of 134,874 polling agents. The NMPP deployed a total of 176,200, while the APC deployed a total of 176,223. What that means is that most of these political parties had their polling agents at the level of during the election. Now, the commission deployed to 176,606 polling units. So, the political parties deployed more agents to the polling units than the number of polling units that opened. So, what that means is that each political party, wherever it deployed polling agents, got a copy of from EC8A, which is the polling unit result sheet, which is the result sheet that is uploaded into the Inec result being portal. Now, the experts have said within the commission that they had technical glitches. I don't have the capacity and I don't have the expertise to go into the technical issues relating to some of these glitches. What they told us is that they had the technical glitches and they have rectified these technical glitches going forward.
I think the issue here is the confidence building that Inec has done leading up to this election and coming forward to tell Nigerians that you have the capacity to deliver a credible election, and you have also given an option where citizens can also be part of the process of monitoring results to stop the past experience of people cutting away with ballot boxes and you have said that Inec that those days are over. As long as the IREP portal is available, even before the agents are able to turn in the result that they got from the field, Nigerians have access to these results. Is it a case of that you promise too much and you are under delivering? Because we saw what happened in Ekiti and Osun, and perhaps, would you say Nigerians are asking too much from Inec that has promised so much?
Our electoral process is designed in such a way that there is a two-way approach to the issue of collation of election results. The first approach is that the moment elections are over at the level of a polling unit, the presiding officer enters the scores of the political parties into Form EC8A, which is the polling unit level results, gives a copy to the agents of the political parties that are present, and also gives copies to the security agents that are also available. Now, that particular result sheet, that from EC8A, together with the physical beavers, are taken to the first level of collation, which is the RA collation or the registration area collation. And we have 8,809 registration area collection centers in Nigeria. The same form is what is also snapped or scanned and uploaded into the Inec result being portal. At the level of the collation of results, if there is no challenge, if there is no dispute, if there are no issues with the results which the presiding officer has taken or transmitted to the collection center, there won't be any problem. But if there's a challenge, if there's a dispute, then the collection officer will call in aid the electronically transmitted result and use it to resolve the challenges that have occurred. There is no technology that does not have challenges. Yes, we promise that results will be uploaded in real time to our Inec result being portal, but there were challenges, there were challenges, things happen, and we had already explained to Nigerians that these glitches happen. We didn't anticipate that we are going to have this challenge, and whatever challenges we recorded, we have made very serious efforts to rectify these challenges, so that during the governorship and state assembly elections, we won't record the same challenge going forward.
All right, so are you giving Nigerians the assurance that IRF portal will be alive? Will it be accessible to all citizens, all Nigerians and all voters on the 18th of March?
Yes, we have rectified the challenges we experienced during the presidential and national assembly elections. Look, let me assure you, no national commission of the commission was happy with what has taken place. This is because this commission has been built and wrapped around serving the people of this country. And we had situations where even core members were held hostage in so many of the polling units, and no parent will allow that type of thing to happen, and no parent will be happy that his or her ward has been held hostage at the level of the polling unit on grounds of technical challenges that the commission had. And so we have taken these things on board. We have made the necessary amendments. We have learned the necessary lessons from this, and we have also activated an option B in terms of the way we approach the issue of result upload. But the issue of result upload was not the only challenge we had. We also had challenges in some of the places, in some of our states, polling units did not open on time. And the moment polling units don't open on time, the voters get angry, the voters get agitated, and things begin to happen. And so these are some of the issues we have reviewed with our resident electoral commissioners, and we're also reviewing the issues with them once again tomorrow to make sure that we get our acts together before the 18th of March 2023.
It's not only the taxpayers' money that has been expended on Inec, it's also the trust that Nigerians have also put on the line in this election. Now, let me tell you how bad if you leave the line of communication closed and if you don't deal with it properly. There are speculations on the social media, and a lot of Nigerians have the right to speculate when they don't have adequate information and knowledge about the issues that are happening. For example, there was in fact a newspaper editorial to the effect that there was a director of ICT at Inec, Mr. Chidi Nwafo, Engineer Nwafo, that was posted out of Inec, and there are speculations that it was because of this reason that you started having problems, that it was because of the expertise of this man, who was his role was pivotal in the beavers and the IRF portal, But in August or so last year, he was posted out of that office, and there are questions raised, and the issues, speculations are being raised about the need and the essence of doing that. And the fundamental thing is, why would that kind of thing happen for someone who was behind that kind of initiative?
Let me just say this and say it very clearly. The present leadership of the commission wants to build a professional organization that is not wrapped around one individual. Now, the individual he mentioned is a very good close friend of mine. He is a director in the commission, and every administrative secretary of the commission in the 36 states of the federation and the Federal Capital Territory are directors. And any director can be posted out to go and become an administrative secretary. Now, the time we readjusted the list of administrative secretaries was the time that the commission was slightly panicky on whether we are going to have new resident electoral commissioners, and we were preparing for an election. So the commission decided in its wisdom that we needed to post our best hands to the various states as administrative secretaries to go and prepare the states for the purposes of election. And that was exactly what the commission did. We have a department in charge of ICT, and the GD I know tried to build a department that can exist, that can stand on its own, whether he's there or whether he's not there. And that is the same thing with every department. There are some administrative secretaries that we recall back to the headquarters to come and head some departments, and there are some that we also posted out to go and head the various offices. This commission is not a commission that is built around speculation, and it's not a commission that is built around rumor mongering. It is a commission that is built around performance, and we want our administrative secretaries to perform, and also we want our directors to perform.
So the question, Mr. Okoye, is that okay?
Just a minute.
All right.
There are some states in the federation as of today that do not have resident electoral commissioners, and it is the administrative secretaries that are conducting elections. We have an administrative secretary in Kaduna State that is running the election, and also in one of the states in the southwest, an administrative secretary is acting as the resident electoral commissioner. And so administrative secretaries are very powerful within the matrix of the commission. So those speculations have no basis either in law or in fact or in reality.
I'm not sure the case of Chidi, who is also someone I know very well, having interacted with him in the past, may have come up if Inec did not have a problem with the IRF portal and some glitches with the beavers. Now, the question then will be asked, with the benefit of hindsight, did the commission regret that Chidi was not available at the headquarters to superintend this process? Are you thinking of bringing a Chidi who is now popular amongst a lot of Nigerians who think that he was very much instrumental, his role was instrumental into this technology Inec has brought? Are you thinking of bringing him to help out since you had this problem in the first cycle of election?
This commission we are talking about is a commission that has over 16,000 staff. So are you saying that if a single staff retires from the commission, that the commission will now cease? No. The commission does not operate in that particular direction. When I joined the commission, there were other national commissioners. Some of them have completed their tenure and they have moved on. Very soon I will complete my tenure and I will move on. So if I move on after completing my tenure, anytime there's a challenge in terms of information and voter education, you say, oh, Barrister Okoye was good in information and voter education, go and bring him back. Society does not work that way, and institutions don't work that way. What the commission should be encouraged to do is to build a professional institution that is not wrapped around one single individual.
Mr. Okoye, please stay with me. I have a few more questions to ask you, but we need to take a quick break. And when we come back, there are a few more issues to trash out. You've told us that you have a plan B for should the IRF portal fail. What would that plan B be? What is it?
I didn't say we have a plan B in case of the failure of the IRF portal. We are confident that the portal will not fail. But if we have any challenge whatsoever relating to the uploading of polling unit level results, the ICT department knows what to do so that we don't have the type of challenge we had uploading polling unit level results during the presidential and national assembly election.
So why was it, I mean, as of now, how many of those results have been uploaded on the IRF portal? Because at some point, the presidential election results were not being uploaded. What is the status now? What can you tell us?
I'm sure. I've not checked today, and I didn't check yesterday. But as at the last time I checked, over 170 of those results have been uploaded. And as you are aware, we are resetting the beavers or reconfiguring the beavers for purposes of the governorship and state assembly election. And any beavers that was used for the presidential and national assembly election that does not push to the accreditation back end, the data relating to the conduct of the presidential and national assembly election will not be configured. In fact, the beavers will not allow itself to be reconfigured or reset if the entire data is not pushed to the accreditation back end. So I'm sure that by Tuesday, when we hope to complete the resetting of the beavers for the purposes of the governorship and state assembly election, all the results where all the results in all the places where elections were conducted, the results will have been pushed to the accreditation back end. But let me make this very clear. Before the conduct of the election, we made it clear to Nigerians that we are not going to deploy to 240 polling units where there were zero voters. And during the presidential and national assembly elections, there were also some polling units where we didn't deploy to and where elections did not take place. And so it's most unlikely that we are going to receive results from some of those polling units. So people should not be expecting that we are going to have 176,606 results in the IRF in the IRF portal the moment we complete with resetting of the beavers.
Would you say that Inec was in full compliance with the Electoral Act in terms of what is section 60, 64, and 65 talked about, the power to review the result, and the clause 38 of the regulations and the guidelines of Inec within 7 days?
I'm a very senior lawyer, and I will not go into an issue that may likely be a subject of contention, a subject of petition before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, sitting as the Court of Appeal. I have seen the direction some people are going, and the issue of whether INEC is in compliance or whether INEC is not in compliance may become an issue. But as I say, the law gives the Commission the right to determine and make a determination on the mode of transmitting election level results to the first level of collation. And what the law requires of the Commission is to be in substantial compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act and also with the constitutive legal instruments for the conduct of election. And I'm confident that the Commission substantially comply with all the provisions of the law.
All right. Quickly, Mr. Okoye, on the issue, the position, the decision of the court on those voters who asked INEC to allow them use the temporary voter cards. You said you're going to court to appeal that matter. What is the status? Based on that judgment, it then means what? That people can use their TVC, isn't it?
That is not the intent of the judgment. Now, that particular judgment applies to only the two individuals that went to court to obtain that particular judgment. It doesn't appeal to. It doesn't apply to all Nigerians. Now, the truth of the matter is that the Commission has come to the Court of Appeal to challenge that particular decision, because we believe strongly that that particular decision is wrong. The law, as of today, gives the Commission the exclusive and the proprietary rights in the voters card. Secondly, the Electoral Act 2022 makes it clear that INEC is the only organ, the only agency, and the only commission that has the right to design, to issue, and determine what is a permanent voters card. And we have made that particular determination. Secondly, during the continuous voters registration exercise, the commission did not issue any individual with a temporary voters card. What we issued those who came forward was a slip indicating the fact that they have applied and that the application is being processed. So that is the position as far as the commission is concerned. But we have taken steps to appeal that particular decision.
All right, I need to bring in some of my other guests into the conversation. But there's those who are not happy that almost 2 weeks after the election, INEC has not been able to successfully upload all the results. There is a plan of Occupy INEC protest that has been threatened by some persons in the country. The Labour Party has said they want to monitor and look at how INEC is uploading backing up the result in your portal. Are you considering allowing them to look at how that is being done, or is that the final answer from INEC that you won't allow the Labour Party to see that?
In terms of the issue of protest, the commission is a public trust, and as far as the commission is concerned, any Nigerian who has any grievance has the constitutional and legal right to come to the commission to protest. The commission will not prevent any individual or group of individuals or any political party association from coming to protest, because the commission is a public trust and is a public institution, and we cannot prevent anybody from coming to protest. On the issue of a political party saying that he wanted or look into the brain of the beavers, the commission will not allow that to happen. Every political party that deployed polling agents has a copy of the polling unit level results. So if a political party wants to now come into the commission and then wants to look at people's biometrics, we will not allow that to happen, because the law does not look. The commission is a regulator of political parties, and the political parties cannot just because of some of these challenges that have taken place turn around and want to regulate the commission. The commission will not allow that to happen.
All right, so give me some minutes, because I mean, some of these political parties are already asking that the INEC chairman should be removed. Several Nigerians, and a lot of them who are commenting and sending messages, are saying, is it possible that INEC can publicly, as you are here, apologize to Nigerians? A lot of people who are angry at the commission, not only the monies that have been committed into this process, but also the trust. For some people, the trust is even bigger than money. Is it possible that INEC officially tonight apologize to millions of Nigerians that may have been disappointed?
Sisoko is not the Independent National Electoral Commission. The Independent National Electoral Commission is made up of a chairman and 12 national commissioners. And we also have 36 resident electoral commissioners and the resident electoral commissioner for the Federal Capital Territory. So the issue of apology or no apology doesn't really arise. The commission has made it very clear that we are not happy with what happened with the result upload during the February 25th presidential and national assembly election, and that we as a responsible organization, we have taken steps to rectify some of the challenges we had, and also to make sure that going into the March 18th 2023 governorship and state assembly elections, that such issues do not reoccur. But let me make this very clear. The conduct of election is a multi-stakeholder venture. Yes, the commission is at the receiving end now, but the political parties also have their own role to play in making sure that we have a good electoral process. It is some of the political parties and some of their candidates that the atmosphere at the level of the polling units inaccessible, make the atmosphere in such a way that the voters cannot really have a very good voting experience on election day. And so we need to also talk to the political parties, talk to their agents, and also make sure that they also abide by the code of conduct and the peace accords that they have signed, so that Nigerians can go to the polling units on election day without any good challenge, so that our officials can deploy without fear and without any harm befalling them. So the political parties are not spending all roses, but as an electoral management body, we will keep on improving with every election, and when we make mistakes, we have the honor, we have the integrity, and also we have the presence of mind to acknowledge the fact that we have made mistakes and that we are going to improve with every election.
All right, some of the words that have done magic in the past is thank you, I'm sorry. Maybe at some point when INEC finds that at a good time to say, and maybe Nigerians may be able to accept it. But thank you so much indeed, Mr. Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner of INEC, for talking to us.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. I believe you really enjoyed the interview that Seun granted to Festus Okoye of National Commissioner of INEC. You know, it was after the election that Seun Akinboboye of Channels Television granted that man that very crazy interview. You know, a lot of things happened in the course of the election. So that was the question that Seun was asking the man in the course of that interview. And that is one of the videos that Peter Obi played in the law court. So I told you Peter Obi played two different videos. So the first one is Seun Akinboboye interview with Festus Okoye. Likewise, Peter Obi played a second video of INEC chairman, the person of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, where he was promising left and right regarding the 2023 election before it took place. So Peter Obi played these two strategic videos to the judge, to the tribunal yesterday, just for him to buttress his point, just for him to have a full legal evidence regarding what happened in course of the election. Obedient, I would like you to stay connected to the end of this video. This man is really serious with his mandate. You know, he brought out those two videos as an evidence, knowing that the interview that Seun granted Festus Okoye brought out a lot of things, a lot of secrets regarding the election. It is not only INEC that manipulated the stuff. There are many. Just stay connected. So I'm showing you the video of INEC chairman where he was talking. You know, that was the video that Peter Obi played in the local. That was the second video. Just stay connected. Going back again.
This has been employed in several elections conducted by the Commission in the past few years. In particular, the uploading of polling unit results to the IRF portal has been deployed in 105 constituencies where the Commission conducted off-season elections since August 2020. The result can still be viewed on the portal, making the IRF an invaluable repository of election results in Nigeria. It is actually our biggest archives for election results. And citizens and anybody who registers on the portal can still view the results for all the 105 constituencies. And I kept asking those who care to approach the Commission that what we have been doing is to upload the scanned images of polling unit results, and the same hard copy is given to party agents at polling units on election day. And I've consistently asked candidates and politicians to compare the results on the IRF portal with the hard copies brought by their polling agents from the polling units. And I asked them if there were discrepancies. It's 99.99% accurate, and the results are still there on the IRF portal. Now, a further lesson from the 2019 general election, which is helping us immensely in our preparations for 2023, is that an early finalization of changes to the Electoral Act, the principal legal basis for elections, is critical to proper organization of elections. In the build-up to the 2019 general election, there was an unending back and forth between the executive and legislative arms of government on the Electoral Act. And in the end, the amendment was stalled. And one consequence of this was that INEC could not conclude work on the regulations and guidelines for the election, which are meant to drive from and be consistent with the Electoral Act as early as we intended. Since the Commission has no say as such in the passing of the Act, it had to wait for a final document to emerge from the process, which ultimately did not materialize. The several recommendations that the Commission made to the National Assembly to include them in the amended Act to improve the quality of elections, such as the strengthening of the use of technology, early conclusion of candidates' nomination, as well as the timely funding of elections, never ultimately became law. It is noteworthy that this time around, the Electoral Act 2022 was passed in good time, and it has addressed some of the issues and challenges we encountered in 2019. The last lesson from the 2019 general election is funding, an early release of funds to the Commission, which are also very important to well-organized elections. And partly because of delays in finalizing the electoral legal framework for the 2019 general election, finalizing the budget for the election, and arranging a good schedule for fund releases to the Commission, all this was rather tardy and challenging to the Commission. And to add to the pressure on the Commission, there were over 14 million more voters to cater for in 2019 compared to 2015. It required painstaking and prolonged engagements with the Commission and both the executive within the Commission and between the executive and the legislative arms of government for us to make some headway. And given that practically all activities for the elections depended on funds, printing of ballot papers, the result sheets, to hiring of election staff and transport providers, the Commission could not meet many of its targets in preparing for the 2019 general elections. So, learning from this experience, what have we been doing to make sure that 2023 is better than 2019? The first point to make is election planning. And learning from the 2019 general election, a great deal of forward planning and engagements have been undertaken, and many aspects of our preparations attest to that. First, we concluded the new 4-year strategic plan and strategic program of action, as well as the 2023 election project plan, over 18 months prior to the date set for the election. So these planning tools were ready 18 months ahead of the elections, which gave us a very good start. Then the Electoral Act. Elections are essentially anchored in law, and unlike the case with the 2019 general election, new Electoral Act was signed into law on Friday, 25th February 2022, exactly 1 year ahead of the general election, giving time for both the Commission and all stakeholders to fully acquaint themselves with the challenges in their responsibilities and functions. As an affirmation of our readiness for the general election, the Commission released a timetable and schedule of activities the following day after the law was assented to. It went into force after it was assented to by the President. The following day, on Saturday, 26 February 2022, the Commission released the timetable and schedule of activities. It contains 14 activities to be implemented from the publication of notice of poll to election day. And I'm happy to say that the Commission has accomplished so far 11 out of the 14 activities for the election, and all of them on schedule. So there are only 3 activities outstanding. The new law contains some very important changes that hold the potentials for improving the quality of Nigeria's election. I've identified 10 most important provisions in the new law, but time will not permit me to go through all the 10. But they are all listed in the lecture, which, as I said, will be made available immediately after today's session. Related to the Electoral Act are the regulations and guidelines. The Commission has powers under the law to come up with regulations and guidelines to govern the conduct of election, drawing from the provisions of the Constitution and the Electoral Act. The Constitution cannot be expected to say everything. So members of the National Assembly, drawing from their powers under the Constitution, make subsidiary legislation. And then in turn, even members of the National Assembly, through subsidiary legislation, cannot say everything about the conduct of elections. And in turn, they donated part of their powers to the Commission to make regulations and guidelines. Together, the three instruments are called the Electoral Legal Framework. So very quickly, for want of time, what have we been doing about perhaps the most important foundation for democratic elections, the registration of voters? You can't have a credible elections without credible register of voters. That is critical. Now, this has been a major component of our preparations for the election. The law requires the Commission to conduct voter registration on a continuous basis. However, the law also provides dates for suspension of the process to prepare for general election. Consequently, continuous voter registration, as we call it in Nigeria, or the CVR, was suspended on the 31st of July 2022 to resume after the general election. And I'm sure you must have heard about the provision of the law as to whether it is 90 days or not later than 90 days. I would leave it at that. If we have time, we can discuss it. There are some words used by the legal draftsmen that give the Commission flexibility. Sometimes it's not later than, sometimes it's not earlier than, sometimes it's on a particular date. But if there is time, we can take this up during discussion. The CVR, I said, was suspended on the 31st of July, and in 1 year, from the 21st of June to the 31st of July, 12.2 million new voters were registered, out of which 9.5 million were validated after a thorough cleaning up of the data. We believe that the enthusiasm, especially among young people, was partly responsible for this surge, but they are also motivated, we believe, by the innovation of online pre-registration introduced by the Commission. For the first time, we introduced the online pre-registration of voters, where citizens can commence the process online, but they have to go to the physical or designated registration centers to conclude the process. This enabled intending registrants to commence the process online from a dedicated portal, book an appointment on the same portal, and finally appear in person at an Inec office to have their biometrics taken. The cleanup of the register was painstakingly conducted by the Commission because the automated biometric identification system, the ABIS, before now the Commission used the AFIS, the fingerprint identification system. But this time around we use the ABIS, meaning both fingerprint and facial. And that is what we're also using to accredit voters on election day. And all these innovations were all the work of INEC's own engineers in-house in the Commission. The machines may have been fabricated outside the country, but the design of the machines were done by our own engineers in-house. In fact, one of them said they are going to introduce a new biometric using body odor. I said, please, not yet. Let's make haste slowly. But when he explained it to me, it sounded logical. He said, don't laugh, Chairman, because I said body odor is also a biometric. He said, how does your dog recognize you? It's from your body odor. And that's why if another person walks to the house, it barks. When you move into the house, it wags its tail because it recognizes your body odor. I said, but for elections, let's wait, not now. So we use the ABIS to clean up the register. But also, there is something that is perhaps peculiarly Nigerian. Who owns the register of voters? It's the people of Nigeria. The law says that when we finish registering new voters, we should add them to the existing register of voters, meaning that the 9.5 million that we cleaned up after the last CVR should be added to the 84 million registered voters for the 2019 general election, and then subject it to scrutiny, claims, and objections by Nigerians. And this requires the printing of hard copies of the register and displaying same in 8,809 wards and 774 local government areas. For that alone, we printed over 9 million pages for that exercise. So at community level, citizens can look at the register, tell us, are there ineligible persons on the register? Persons who by virtue of age are not supposed to be on the register, or citizenship, or the deceased, or multiple registrants. Again, because of the Electoral Act 2022, we did something that was novel. We published the entire National Register of Voters on our website, and citizens had access to them, and you probably saw on the social media how they're picking up pictures of people all over and saying all manner of things on the social media. Now, the purpose of claims and objections is that people whose names have been misspelled, or their personal details, or they have realized that there are some people that shouldn't be on the register, it was their responsibility to inform the commission. And there is a procedure for making these complaints. At the end of the exercise, over 53,000 names were annulled from the register as a result, essentially, of citizens' action. I want to say this, that the National Register of Voters in Nigeria is the largest database of citizens in Africa. And we believe that the core of it is solid. But like every database, it's not perfect. And we'll continue to work to improve on that database. One of the complaints we received arising from the claims and objections said that there were underage voters in 15 states, and they submitted an 138-page document. And personally, I took time to study the document, line by line, blow by blow. They identified 21,000 plus eligible registrants in the 15 states. And so I asked them, is that all you have identified? He said, that's all that they have identified. But in the 15 states, there are 37 million registered voters. So the 21,000 in terms of percentage comes to 0.06% of 37 million, meaning that 99.94% of the register is solid. So I'll skip the other thing about electoral operations and logistics, but let me go to inclusivity before I round up. Inclusivity and diaspora voting. Our commission remains fully committed to making Nigerian elections inclusive. Inclusive elections constitute an essential part of democracy, and that's the reason why in our commission we regularly speak of our commitment to free, fair, credible, transparent, verifiable, and inclusive elections. And over the years, we have worked with various stakeholders to increase the participation of young people and women. Participation in the process, it may not necessarily be participation in elective offices. Under our constitution, no one can contest election unless and until he or she is sponsored by a political party. And we have been engaging with the political parties to see what we can do together in that respect. And then the work of the Not Too Young to Run movement did a lot in reducing the age requirement for contesting some electoral positions, which actually underscores the Commission's youth policy. In addition, the Commission has a gender policy introduced way back in 2012 to guide or provide a fairer working environment for women in the commission and in the electoral process, and we remain committed to these policies. But in addition to that, we have been engaging with the disability community nationwide. Only last week, we met with Inclusive Friends and the Albino Foundation, and we are going to be providing a lot of assistive devices, both as a requirement of the law and as a practice. The albinos complained that we should help them to be able to see the logos of the political parties on the ballot papers better, and so we introduced magnifying glasses. For the blind that could read Braille, we introduced Braille jacket. And then for the deaf, they said they could see and they didn't need those assistive devices. They asked what could we give them. So in discussion with them, we came to the conclusion that we should provide posters for them. That will also help them, and we'll continue to do more in that respect. In fact, we are working together to launch a data dashboard that captures all registered voters with disability in all polling units nationwide, disaggregated by type of disability. By the time you get the paper, you'll see the distribution of voters in Nigeria by disability, including the percentages by type of disability. Diaspora voting. Our quest for a fully inclusive electoral process will not be complete as long as Nigerians who are living outside the country are unable to vote. And voting by millions of Nigerians living outside the country remains a recurrent issue for the Commission. Nigeria is said to have one of the largest diaspora communities in the world. Our people are everywhere. However, the Commission only acts in accordance with the electoral legal framework, which remains the main reason why we cannot implement diaspora voting for now, much as we would like to do so. Both the 1999 Constitution and the 2022 Electoral Act provide that voters can only be registered and vote within the country. For instance, Section 77, subsection 2 of the Constitution said that every citizen of Nigeria who has attained the age of 18 years residing in Nigeria at the time of the registration of voters for purposes of elections to a legislative house shall be entitled to be registered as a voter for that election. And there are other sections of the Constitution that tie the eligibility to register and vote in executive elections, presidential and governorship, to the requirements of residency, as in the case of legislative elections. The Commission hopes that these legal obstacles will be cleared at some point to enable Nigerians in the diaspora to vote. We have actually completed the policy as far as the Commission is concerned, and we identified two categories of Nigerians living outside the country. We have the OCV, the out-of-country voting, mainly by service personnel and other Nigerians engaged in, say, foreign service, and those who are engaged in technical manpower. There's assistance organized by the Nigerian government for other countries, particularly in our sub-region. For now, they don't vote. But the other leg of it is for Nigerians permanently resident outside Nigeria. That is the diaspora voting. And we worked with Nigerians in diaspora organizations in the UK, in the United States, and we're even happy that some amendments were submitted, constitutional amendment to the National Assembly, but eventually they didn't sell through in terms of the propositions forwarded to the state assemblies for concurrence before our constitution is amended. Should I talk about attacks on Inec facilities? I don't think this presentation will be conclusive without that. In 4 years, 50 facilities of the Commission were attacked in various parts of the country, mainly in the form of arson and vandalization. Buildings, election materials, and vehicles were destroyed, and sometimes these attacks even targeted staff of the Commission. During the continuous voter registration, some staff of the Commission in Imo State were attacked, resulting in injuries and death. The implication of the attacks is that we have to rebuild facilities and replace materials. And the Commission and the security agencies have increased their presence in some of these locations. The last attack actually happened on Sunday last week, but because of the cooperation between the military and the Electoral Commission, we were able to respond, and the damage was limited to just a section of the building in a local government office. The Commission has repeatedly called for concerted efforts to control and check these attacks. And in December last year, the National Assembly held a public hearing on these attacks, and we hope that authorities have these attacks under control and the response by the security agencies more coordinated. But in spite of these attacks, we'll rebuild facilities, we'll replace damaged or lost items. The election will continue. Finally, we have promised Nigerians and friends of Nigeria that the 2022 general election will be free, fair, credible, and inclusive. And we have left no stone unturned in preparing for it, despite several challenges. It's easier to start with the last question because I didn't have enough time to write it down, so it's fresh in my memory. I can't miss it. On asset declaration, I think this is a constitutional matter. Asset declaration for all public officers, and there is a procedure and there is an agency responsible for asset declaration. It's not necessarily tied to election. You know, the Constitution is also very clear on conditions for contesting an election, and asset declaration is not part of it, but all public office holders must declare their assets as a matter of constitutional responsibility. I hope that answers his question. Now, later you talked about ballot secrecy. Yes, in Nigeria, the law provides for open, secret ballot. In other words, there has to be a ballot box in the open, but the choice made by citizens must be in secret. And that's why the Commission provides the voting cubicles, and then there is a ballot box in the open. Once a citizen makes his or her choice, the ballot paper is dropped in the open in the ballot box. Now, you tied this to the question of vote buying on election day. Yes, I mentioned this in my presentation. By the time you get the lecture, you will see I said much more actually than what I could have said or could not have said during my presentation on the issue of vote buying. So, it happens like this. In the polling unit, you have the vote buyers. Sometimes they have legitimate reason to be at the polling units because they may be agents of political parties. The law allows for polling agents. And so when people vote, they have a tendency to show the party that they have voted for to the person who is facilitating the buying of the votes before the ballot paper is dropped into the ballot box. What did we do? In 2018, I think, we decided in one of the elections to change the configuration of the polling units by bringing the ballot papers closer to the ballot boxes. The voting cubicles, the ballot box close to the voting cubicles, in order to curtail the distance that they travel between the time they make their choice in the cubicles to the point they drop the ballot papers in the ballot boxes. We thought we were making some progress. But another election followed a few months later, that year, off-season governorship elections. Then we learned that they were using their smartphones. So instead of exposing the ballot paper, all you need to do is to go in with a smartphone, snap the marked ballot paper, and then go and do whatever you wish to do later. We then banned the use of not only mobile phones, but even photographic devices in the voting cubicles. Mixed results. In many parts of the country, we don't have built-up polling units. We have them in what we call open spaces. What we provide on election day are the tents or canopies for these polling units. But we'll continue to look into that. But it's not just a Nigerian problem. I also noticed that it's a global problem. Very interesting. I went to the United States for a midterm election some time back, and then you see at polling units posters saying that mobile phones and cameras are not allowed into the polling units. So it assumes that dimension as well. But we also went ahead to introduce the folding of the ballot papers, and we trained our presiding officers. When a voter comes, as soon as the person is accredited and is given the ballot paper, that is the way it is folded. And when they make their mark in the voting cubicles, we encourage them to fold the ballot papers in the same way before they drop into the ballot boxes. But what is all this talk about vote buying? It is also for us an indication of the progress that we are making in our democracy, because it is becoming increasingly clear to everyone that the votes are counting, and that you can't bribe a voter long before the election and expect the person is going to vote for it. So follow the person to the polling unit, and even the polling unit, make sure that the person has voted for you. At the end of the day, and I've said this consistently, is enforcement of the laws. There are laws, but the laws are not enforced. So let me seize the opportunity to renew our appeal as a commission for the National Assembly in Nigeria to speedily pass the Electoral Offences Commission bill, so that all violators of our laws shall be penalized accordingly. At present, that responsibility is left to Inec by law. But look at the constraints. Inec cannot make arrests. We have no capacity to make arrests. Inec cannot successfully conduct investigations that will provide the evidence that will lead to successful prosecution. But we are saddled with the responsibility of prosecuting electoral offenders. So several committees, 2009, the Waste Committee recommended the establishment of the Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal. 2011, the Lemu Committee did so. 2017, the Ken Namani Committee did so. But the good thing is that the Senate in Nigeria has passed the bill, but it's awaiting concurrence by the House of Representatives. So we hope that the National Assembly will do the needful by passing that law, and that law should be assented to speedily before the end of the lifespan of the present Assembly. Dr. Isiaku Mustafa, this is the easiest question I can answer. As far as Inec is concerned, we conduct elections on the basis of what the law says we should do. It is not our business to do advocacy for extension of tenure. But whatever the law provides, it's what you do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alex. I will take your advice seriously, since you have given me the option of choosing which questions to answer, which questions I'm not going to answer. But I'm going to answer all questions as best I can. So we start with John, Arise News. You talked about the teething problems with the beavers and what guarantees that the machines will work. Yes, we had issues in Anambra and the FCT when we deployed the beavers in November last year and in November 2021 and February 2022. We went back to the drawing board. We have found the solution to the problem. That's why in subsequent elections in Ekiti and Osun, we didn't see those glitches. But I'm not going to say more about what we discovered and what action we have done. Because if you are running web resources, you have to be mindful what you say, particularly at a forum like this, because the bad guys may also be listening. But we are confident, and this is what we have done, and we completed this early this week. We have the machines for the 2023 general elections, but we didn't want to take chances. Each and every machine has been tested and confirmed that the machine is functional. So actually for the last 2 weeks or so, our officials were in all the states of the Federation testing those machines. And the functionality of the machines is simply very encouraging. So we'll not take chances. The second thing we are going to do, and pretty soon, is to conduct mock accreditation exercise nationwide ahead of the election. We won't wait until the main election comes. We'll test the integrity of these machines with real live voters in selected polling units across the country. We did so in Ekitan Osho. It was fantastic. We are going to do so nationwide. And increasingly, our people are becoming even more excited about the deployment of this technology. So we are really happy. And in terms of the numbers of the BVAS machines, we always make provision for additional numbers of machines in case of malfunction or glitches. And there is always a backup. We have what we call the RA technical support that will fix the machines in the unlikely event of any glitches. And where it needs to be fixed is fixed, but where it fails to function completely in a polling unit, and from previous experience there are isolated polling units, the law has a remedy that the commission should immobilize and conduct the election in the affected polling units within 24 hours. So we are really comfortable where we are on the machines, but we'll continue to do whatever we need to do to protect its integrity and to continue to test it for deployment during elections. Aisha, you asked two questions. The first one is friends spending quite a number of days to collect their PVCs. And you talked about the possibility of linkage between NIN and PVCs. NIN is our national identification number. These are numbers issued by a completely different agency. But there is a committee working on the harmonization of various sources of data, from the national identification number, the immigration service with passports, the central bank with bank verification numbers, the electoral commission which has the largest database of citizens in the country, the Federal Road Safety Corps that issues driver's licenses nationwide. We hope by the time we achieve that harmonization, then obviously it will be easier. At that point, we hope it will also be possible for citizens to vote wherever they are instead of the polling units where they register, because that is what the law provides for now.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. I believe you really enjoyed this very session. That was the two videos that Peter Obi brought out yesterday in the tribunal. A lot of people were like, why did Peter Obi brought in the television into the law court yesterday? From Monday this week, Obi have been bringing a lot of evidences. Ghana must go of evidences, packs of evidences, a lot of things in the law court just to fight this Inec. Inec have been denying a lot of all these things. The documents that Inec gave to Peter Obi's lawyer, Inec have the certified copy of it. Likewise, they gave the photocopy to Peter Obi's lawyer, but on getting to the law court, when Peter Obi's lawyer tendered the documents to use it against INEC denied their own personal documents. A lot of denial have been going on in the law court. A lot of things have been denied. For Peter Obi's lawyer will come up with an evidence. Tinubu's lawyer will raise up their hand, objection my lord, objection my lord. You can see four of Tinubu's lawyer at the same time raising up their hands just to object what Peter Obi's lawyer is trying to prove out. But the judge said something yesterday, said, why is it that they always make objection of what Labour Party lawyers are saying? The judge asked them that question yesterday, and the judge mentioned of a statement yesterday, said their objections are fraudulent objections. Something is fishing in APC's objection. That was what the judge said yesterday. That was when the APC lawyer and INEC lawyer have to calm down, and Peter Obi's lawyer tendered their evidences very well. Peter Obi brought in the television, and those are the two videos that Peter Obi showcased in the law court yesterday. Video of Sheon Akinboboye of Channel Television interview with Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner of INEC. Likewise, he showcased the video of where INEC chairman, person of Professor Mamun Yakubu, was talking before the election, where he was promising heaven and earth, and he made mention of all the electoral laws and all of that none should be violated, and anybody that violates it will be penalized. INEC chairman promised he said all these things, and he himself was still the one that violated everything after the election. When the election came, this man just changed to something else that we did not know. You know, the international communities are engaged in this whole process because the international communities were there when Inec chairman promised heaven and earth that the election of Nigeria is going to be free and fair. He made mention of the fact that no underage will vote. But this video showcased online on Twitter during the election day in the northern part of Nigeria, where underage line up in mass and they were voting for a particular party. The video showcased online and their ballot paper was shown and their voters card was shown. Everything was shown in the video during the election on the 25th of February. But yet, the same party that the underage were voting for, that was the same party that Inec sided in course of the election. And I believe that Inec chairman will see the video of where underage were voting, but nothing was done about it. Yet, he counted the election, he counted the vote, did everything. They announced a winner for the same Inec chairman that promised that no young voter, someone that is not up to 18 years to vote, but they voted in the northern part of Nigeria. Children that are not up to 18 years voted in the northern part of Nigeria, and even they interviewed the commissioner of police of a particular division, and during the election the policeman was interviewed and the police was like, oh, nobody knows their age, they may be small in face but they may be old inside. That was why the police said, even when we see people that are not even up to teenagers voting, that was what was said and nothing is being done. Inec failed Nigeria. Inec failed everyone. That was what Shaki Baboye was saying in the course of this video. The first video that I show you, Shaki Baboye said that 40% of Nigerians have lost their integrity on Inec, and which is so, it's even more than 40%. A lot of people lost their integrity on Inec. It's not even the money that Inec wasted. It's not even the money that Nigerians wasted on Inec just to provide a good and free and fair election. It's not only the money that is paying the people, it was because their hope was lost, because they put all their hope on Inec and Inec failed them totally. Obedience, what do you guys? I would like you guys to drop your opinion in the comment section of this video. The tribunal continues on Monday, so Peter Obi will be in court again on Monday, coming up with a lot of evidences. You know, Peter Obi's lawyer are fully ready and they're trying to pull out a lot of evidences because the court demanded 50 evidences from them. But APC lawyers are trying to draw down their evidences. Peter Obi's lawyer are in haste to provide the evidences in the law court, but the moment when they begin to bring out their evidences, APC's lawyer are objecting the motion. They keep objecting it, and the more they are objecting it, the more they are delaying the process. And the court gives Labour Party a fixed date that if they did not tender out their evidences in the fixed date, that there's nothing they will do again. But APC lawyer are doing a manipulative stuff just to slow down the speed of Labour Party lawyers as far as their evidence proof is concerned. So the judge said it yesterday. Just said that the APC lawyer are just wasting time and they should stop objecting. They should allow Labour Party to speak. So just stay connected, guys, on this channel. Let's type on Watch TV. I'm going to let you get a national for you. Don't worry about political zone. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye.